someone somewhere who obviously is smarter than you and I'm certain, have said the best way to predict the future is to, no, the best way to see the future rather is to, okay, I'm missing it, but it has something to do with working on the future and painting that picture. Hopefully the quote loads. Well, the conversation for this has a lot to do with that. Apparently, some jobless guys decided to sit and say, you know what? How would River State be in 25 years? Now, I just realized that they're not jobless. Framing this is actually their job. And they came up with the Rivers 2050 vision. Now, it's an initiative, an effort to crowdsource a long-term development blueprint for the state. It is led by young people and experts. The initiative seeks to define a collective vision and advocate for a statewide development plan. These guys are policy shapers, and I have their founder right here with me. His name is Ebenezar Wikina, a man of too many titles, too many profiles, and too many things. Hello, Ebenezar.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's so good to see you again. It's been a long time that we had the conversation on air.
Yes, it is, and your profile gets updated every time we sit. But the most important one is you're a family man.
Yeah, I'm a dad. I'm a new dad.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How are you adjusting to a reality you have never experienced before?
It's a whole new experience that I can say. I feel like, people advise you before it happens, but until you experience it, it's a completely different experience.
Have you seen anything that has reminded you of your younger self? Like, oh, my child did this here. I remember doing this to my dad. Have you ever seen, has that happened yet?
I think the way he sleeps, my wife talks about the way he sleeps. Like, he sleeps sometimes in awkward positions.
Okay.
And sometimes I just fall asleep like that sometimes too.
Interesting.
So I'm beginning to see that. I'm like, should I correct him? Should I say this is just me?
Okay. Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Rivers 2050. Why a 25-year plan? I mean, China has a 100-year plan for almost everything. I know that Dubai has the UAE
2071
Centennial, 2071, the 100-year plan.
Yeah.
So all these countries are doing 100, some maybe have 50. Why are you selling us short with a 25-year plan for River State?
So first things first, the project we want to work on is a vision. It's a visioning project, which actually is what fits into a plan.
Okay.
Policy shapers at the moment doesn't have the resources to put together a plan. I've worked on, so in my previous work experience at Payne Foundation, I've worked on projects that have led to states to craft 30-year plans.
And we had that conversation on radio as well.
We had that conversation on the station, and that project. I mean, to just give you information, that project costs close to like 100 million. If you have
100 million.
If you have to bring folks from the UN, if you have to do engagement in all the local government areas, if you have to do make it extensive, bring everybody expertise. You ran for almost 2 years, right? So it's a long thing. It's a more long-term thing.
Yeah.
And that's something that states need to invest in. For these states that have invested in them, I think that what is left for them now is to be for the citizens to track implementation of those plans. What we want to do is a visioning project. So a visioning project is first a broad picture of saying, how do we want our roads to be in 2050?
Okay.
What number of schools do we need? What will our population be like? Where will those people live? What hospitals will treat them? What schools do their kids go to? And stuff like that. So it's a broad picture, and we hope to use that visioning document as an advocacy document to engage the state government to come up with a plan, because we do need a plan. Yeah. What we see is that most people come in, a particular leader comes into office and has their own agenda. And there's nothing wrong with agendas, but agendas are not sustainable. That's why you see there's a project begun by this previous administration, a new one comes in, ignores it totally, even though you spent like 30 billion on it, and starts something else. And then another guy comes again in 4 years and then ignores it. So it's a very choppy way to do development. And so having been part of this diverse plans, young people in the States were beginning to think a lot about the future. And we think that the conversation currently in the States is quite toxic for the lack of a better word. It's quite toxic, because we're very we versus them versus us, a lot of back and forth fighting. Yeah. And I think River State being a state that after Lagos State, River State is the next biggest state in this country, right? Yeah, IGR, everything. Yeah. I think that if you look at where Lagos is when it comes to development planning, they've had a 15-year development plan that is going to elapse soon. If you look at where they are and where we are, we need to be doing way better. Yeah. Because we do have the resources, we have the manpower. Rivers people are leading, like I've met for the past 2 years, I met many Rivers people in like leading companies and organizations all across the country, right? In aviation, in energy, in banking, everywhere. So you begin to wonder, if you have all these smart people from River States, what are we doing for our own states? How are we thinking about development for our own states? And how are we bringing all of those expertise and ideas and brilliance and intelligence back into the states?
Yeah, but even on a broader sense, it's exactly how Nigerians are leading in different parts of the world.
True, very true. Sadly,
and, people are asking those same questions.
Yes.
Why is this expertise not reflecting back home?
Exactly. So I mean, instead of complaining about it, we say let's take a step. It's a first step, because if you're doing a long-term plan, you need to do a visioning project first. So we're taking off that visioning section of it, which will also take off quite a big chunk of money from that long-term planning budget, right? So we are doing the visioning project. We hope to, this is going to be led by young people. It's non-partisan. It's not supported by any local political party or any individual. This is young people below 30, early 30s, mid 30s, who are saying, by that time I'll be 50-something years old. I'll have a child that is 25 years old. How will this state be? And how can I leave a better state for my own children and for their own children?
Is that not ageism? I mean,
it's not. We're actually
because
people
who are 50
everybody
now would very likely still be alive in 25 years.
70s, yes, clear. Yeah. No, but they probably have retired at the time, right? They probably wouldn't be working at that time. We're not saying we're going to just leave this plan for only young people. Young people are leading the plan, but obviously we're going to need wisdom from the older generation. So that's why we're going to have focus group discussions as part of this project, where we'd have experts, former River State leaders, people who have led the state as governors and as commissioners and stuff like that, and have them come together and talk about what they did in their time and how they think we can do better for the next 25 years. And we're going to see how we can break those boundaries of political boxing that we have in the states, and say, let's sit down together as a people in the states and think of how to make our state better.
If you think about it, with the visioning, the projection and all of that, there's a sector that has already taken the initiative long before you even thought about it. Real estate.
Yeah.
Everything around real estate is around the future. Somebody tells you, this bush you are seeing today, tomorrow is going to be a couple
of years. Yeah.
And in some cases it works, other times it doesn't. That land is still exactly what it is. Now, is this policy, even though by the title I can tell the answer is yes, but is it tailor fit for River State in the event, because you're going to present to government, that the government does not accept, does not adopt, or they are not in for it? Can you take it and give it to Bayelsa or Sokoto? Would it work for them? Or is it specific to this state?
Yes, no, so we're tailor-making this for River State. And actually, the government cannot reject it because we're already going to involve them in the process. We've already reached out to the government at the beginning of this project to inform them of the vision project. And the fact that it's young people, you can't really reject your children, really. Like, really, how are they going to reject us? Like,
really?
By the time we finish...
Have you met people?
By the time we finish this project and the extensive work that happens. So, as part of the project, there are going to be different stages. So, there's going to be a stage that we're going to get a broad... We're aiming to survey about 70,000 people across River State. At least 70,000 people across River State. We're also going to have, like I said, engagements and focus group discussions to talk about the various thematic areas. So we talk about real estate, for example. So what are the housing plans, for example, for River State? How can we even fix affordable housing? Because when you see affordable housing projects these days, and sometimes they cost like 40 million and 30 million, and you wonder if that's really affordable, right? So what's affordable housing? How do we even begin to think about the future for when it comes to do with schools? How do we ensure that our curriculum, because now there's so much conversation at the national level around curriculum change, and the change from JSS to the 10-year thing we're talking about. So how does River State fit into that? We've had school infrastructure built by previous administrations. How do we ensure that they're even being sustained? How can it be, for the ones that are dilapidated, how can it be renovated, brought back to life, and ensure that we even have teachers? Do we even have enough teachers to teach the number of young people that would have in the next 25 years? Sam and I just had kids. More people are going to have kids in a couple of years.
Yes, apparently.
More and more kids. So
lots of people want those
things too. Who will
teach
them? Yes, who will teach those kids, right? So I think all of those questions and everything. So we're tailor-making this for River State, and we hope that, we're piloting this model, because what usually happens is that an NGO works with the government and then does this visioning thing. But we want to say, how does it work if the people do the visioning? right?
Okay.
So as for a long way, we're going to allow the people to lead this particular process. We hope we can have town hall meetings in local government areas. We're going to have local government leads who are young people again, under 20s and 30s, because we want to change the narrative, because they always say that the young people in this region cannot lead good things. They always say young people in this region are the ones that are stealing ballot boxes and carrying guns for people and stuff like that. And we want to actually show that it's possible to have young people actually lead intellectual projects and take it from the start to the end. So that's in essence what we're trying to build with this particular project.
All right, many more questions for Ebenezar Wikina, but I'd like to hear from you. If you could shape River State in 2050, what's the one change you'd prioritize? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06416. It seems I might be able to take just one call before the break, so it should be yours. If you could shape River State in 2050, what's the one change you would prioritize? And would you participate in a survey or focus group discussion to shape the state's future? Because indeed, there is need for all sorts of stakeholders to be a part of this. Now, Ebenezar says this is crowdsourcing, and I'm wary when there are too many cooks, when too many people are involved in setting something up. It's almost like things have to go wrong, or it's just, right? So, are you ready for what could come with having too many opinions contribute to this vision? But before you answer that, let's take this call. Hello?
Yes.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you.
What's your name?
Now, in answer to your question, you're asking what change would you like to see in the kid, if you and me had a kid and all that, who's going to teach things that is going to transform a society is the level of education and learning is also not transformed.
Okay.
If we don't take education serious, every other thing we are doing, we are wasting our time. And I'm glad this is also being championed by young people who know that if we don't get it right from that early, it's going to be catastrophic.